What's going on, everybody? Almost Counts Collectibles here, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at and reviewing two more Automorphin Rangers from the 6-inch Automorphin toy line. We're going to take a look at Pink and Yellow over here that we did not get a chance to review in the first video because they were a little harder to get my hands on. We're also going to take a look at the new Tyrannosaurus battle bike, one of the 3 battle bikes and exclusive Rangers that they're going to be releasing. And we're also going to take a look at the Red Ranger role-playing mask. So first, we are going to go ahead and take a look at the other 2 Rangers to round out the Automorphin line. So let's go ahead and take a look at Yellow here. Now, with these specific ones, the Yellow and the Pink, I have been seeing that these don't actually automorph. Now, at first, I thought maybe the reason why stores did not receive Yellow and Pink is because there was some kind of manufacturing mistake or some sort of mistake in production, and these 2 Rangers did not get the mechanism put inside of them. Therefore, they were holding off on shipping them out because they were going to fix it, and then they were going to, ship them out later. Well, from what I'm seeing, every Yellow Ranger and Pink Ranger, at least like I said, the ones that I've seen so far, if there are actually ones out there that you guys have that do automorph, please let me know. But I've noticed that the ones I received, now I did not buy these from overseas. I know a lot of people from, I think, the UK, Canada, these third-party sellers were selling the ones that were available in their region. I even saw them pop up on Walmart.com's site a few times, I believe. Also, Putty and Goldar, I think, are on there right now for $21 to $29, but they're shipped from Canada. I actually got these off the Walmart site, shipped from Walmart to the States. So this should be the one that we're receiving here in the States. So the fact that they did go ahead and make this available pretty much everywhere now, I mean, when they are in stock, I think both of these are still currently available online at Walmart.com's website. But guys, they don't have the cutout for you to actually try them. Now, the fact that the packaging is actually different from the other Rangers, I'll show you an example right here. So here was Zach's packaging. With all of the male Rangers, they have the cutout, it says try me, and you can actually try the automorphing function. With the female Rangers, they don't say try me, and they don't have the cutouts, and you cannot manipulate the lever on the back of the packaging. So the fact that the packaging is different tells me that this wasn't a manufacturing mistake, that they made these this way on purpose. So they intentionally left out the automorphing function. Now, if you're going to do that, okay, I don't agree with it, but at least be honest about it. Because, yeah, I know they don't say try me, but both of these still say head flippin' morphin action. Press lever to flip the head right here on Yellow Ranger. On the back, it says head flippin' morphin action, press the lever on the back. And, it shows it flipping. It doesn't differentiate, and, one says, continuous, or one says automorphin, and the other one just says head flippin'. They both say head flippin' morphing action, press the lever on the back. This one on the males, of course, just says try me. But the picture both indicates that with the lever on the back, that you should be able to do the automorphing function. So the fact that it leads you to believe that these still do the same thing as the other ones, I think that's kind of false advertisement. But I haven't got this open yet. I'm assuming it's not going to automorph. But we'll take a look at the packaging real quick. It's the same as all of the male ones, like I said, with the exception of the cutout, and it doesn't say try me. But here's Trini. She comes with her daggers, comes with 2 forms of the blaster. And then on the back, it's got, Trini, the stuff about her, if you want to pause it and read that. But let's go ahead and open Trini up and take a look at her. All right, guys, and here we have the Automorphin, which not really auto, Yellow Ranger Trainee. Now, in the bottom of Trainee's packaging, she comes with a special set of instructions. So once again, this shows that this was full-on intentional. It wasn't a mistake. They intentionally did not make the female Rangers Automorphin. It says to morph from teenager to ranger, press the lever on the back. To repeat the head flipping action again, you must reset the head back to teenager by hand. So these were intentionally made not to automorph. I don't get that. I don't understand why they robbed the female Rangers of that action. This is the main selling point of these Automorphin Rangers. And they don't even do it. They're like the original Rangers. You have to manually flip them. And it's not even really that easy to do. Her hair is really catching down in there on the lever down here. If you guys saw my other review, you already know how I feel about these. I do not like the Automorphin Rangers. I think they look terrible. They have very limited leg movement. Now, I will say that the female Rangers, they have a little bit larger range of motion than the male Rangers. It looks like their legs go up further. So they can do a little bit better pose. The shoulders, I mean, the articulation is still the same in regards to its design, but the Yellow Ranger, at least, Kim is probably going to have very limited because of her skirt, but they seem to have a wider range of motion. I do see that the groin area molds are smaller on Trainee. Overall, the bulkiness isn't as much. They did make the, Yellow Ranger, and it looks like Pink as well, their overall build a little smaller because they're females. So, I mean, I appreciate that, but overall, I just think they just don't look very good. They're way too big and bulky. I just don't like them. Now, overall, as far as paint application, pretty similar to the males. Missing a little bit of paint application on the helmets. We've got some smearing of something on the helmets here. Overall, the paint application really isn't terrible. I mean, they still have the black morphers. I noticed Trainee, so her coin is just like, it's flat. There is nothing in there at all. It's just painted gold. It's a completely flat surface. All of the other Rangers, and I don't know if this is intentional or not, but all of the male Rangers have some sort of raised up impression. I think most of them look like the dragon coin. I think Zach was the only one that kind of actually looked like the Macedon, but you can see that, it's raised up. There's indentions there. I don't know if that's intentional, but all the males have it. Trainee here, though, as you can see, that is just a completely smooth, flat surface they just painted gold. It seems like they skimped out a lot on the female Rangers. I mean, they went through the trouble to give them a different design. Maybe this slightly smaller body design is why they didn't put the auto-morphing function, but that doesn't make much sense. It's really just a spring. I mean, as you can see, the male Rangers have that spring that goes all the way across. Trainee has just a tiny spring that opens and closes. I mean, it's just an open cavity down in here. If you can see that. It's got springs on both the front and the back. So it looks like Trainee, the females, have no spring on the front. If you guys can see down in there. I think that's the difference. The front also doesn't spring, so it's not throwing the head around. because the males have no lever, nothing down in there at all. I mean, it's just flat right here at the tip of my finger. The females, at least Trini does, they've got this lever right here that's raised up that her hair keeps catching on, and I'm sure eventually it will wear the paint off of her hair right here. They also have 3 screws on the back, whereas the males only have the 1. Oh, her head actually moves pretty decently. Oh, Red's actually does a little bit too. She's got a little bit more movement on the head though. But yeah, so you have to manually reset the females, it looks like. They come with the blaster just like the males did in both forms. I like the weapons. I mean, they're the 2 basic colors. They look decent. She's got her power daggers here. The power daggers look good. I mean, the paint for the most part looks great. Looks like the power daggers. They're even painted silver for when they're in, you know, the actual power blaster form, but you don't get that because they don't combine. All right, so there's Trini. Let's go ahead and take a look at Kim. I'm sure it's going to be the same deal, but let's go ahead and take a look at Pink Ranger here. Now, once again, doesn't say try me, no cutout. Kim also has her skirt, so that's probably going to hurt her mobility. I don't see anything on the bow. Like I said, they don't combine. Here is Kimberly's information. All right, let's go ahead and get Kim out and take a look at her. All right, and here we have the Pink Ranger. I keep wanting to say Automorphing Ranger, but she really doesn't automorph. So once again, with her morpher as well, the coin is a very smooth surface. There's no indentions. There's no kind of raises or bumps or anything that indicates they tried to put anything in there at all. So it's really looking like they just kind of skimped out on the female Rangers. And that doesn't really make much sense to me because they're not much cheaper. Now, they are cheaper than the other Rangers, but once again, I don't know if that was by design. I don't know if specifically Walmart is just coming up with its own prices, because Yellow Ranger, as soon as I noticed her go live and up for order on Walmart.com, she was like $9.80 or something like that. So I thought, oh wow, you know, maybe the female Rangers are cheaper because they don't do the automorphin function. Maybe that, you know, was their original plan. But that lasted less than a day because she went up a little bit. Now, she only went up to 10 something, and that is the price that Kim was actually originally posted at as well. I'll throw it up on the screen. I think it was like 1080 something, 1090 something. And that is where they still are. So the female Rangers are cheaper than the male Rangers. Now, maybe they did that, like I said, because history has shown, you know, statistics don't lie. The female Rangers don't sell as well as the male Rangers. So maybe from the get-go, they decided to not put as much money and effort into them, and they made them cheaper. But the fact that this is the Automorphin line, and you chose to rob the female Rangers of that automorphing function, that's kind of crazy to me. But anyways, so here's Kim's skirt. It is that like rubberized material. It definitely hurts her articulation. She can't really move much at all. I mean, the skirt does give away a little bit. All right, she can get into a little bit of a kicking pose there. It is stretching this out though. Overall, the paint apps, you know, pretty similar across the board. Some details missing, little ones, you know, like her little dots that should be green on her helmet. But other than that, I mean, the paint apps look fairly decent. The morphers are solid black. They should be silver. But anyways, so yeah, they really robbed them of their automorphin function. And that is not smooth. Their heads don't flip very well. Their hair, I got a feeling that they're going to end up with these like white streak marks right here where this paint gets rubbed off down to the color of the face plastic, probably from this bar down in here, this raised up, you know, lever activator that's just rubbing across their hair. Yeah, these are not fun. These are not fun to play with. Now, I will say that the head sculpts look pretty decent. I mean, Trini and Kim there, you know, I don't get too hard on these head sculpts, especially with like the more basic figure lines and stuff, especially with these. But I think the face sculpts look pretty decent. I mean, she's even got an earring. They put an earring in her ear that's actually painted. It actually looks really good. She's got earrings in both ears. But yet they couldn't put the two little green dots on the helmet. Does her head move? Her head does move a little bit. And she's got the basic articulation that the males had. You know, at the wrist, spin around. I don't like the limited movement in the shoulder. Let's take a look at the power bow. So here's the power bow. I mean, it looks fine. It's got the two basic colors that it needs. Once again, no pegs, no nothing to make the power blaster. And then she also came with the blaster in blaster form and the blade blaster in blade form here. But that's it, guys. Those are the female Automorphin Rangers, even though they pretty much are just manual morphing Rangers. So yeah, you guys tell me what you think about these. I'm not a fan of the Automorphin Rangers, just don't like them, but there is yellow and pink, and that's what you're getting. So they intentionally skimped out on the female Rangers and robbed them of their continuous automorphing feature. And once again, I'm referring to the continuous automorphing function like the male Rangers have. They just don't have that. All right, well, let's set these aside and let's take a look at the battle bike, because this is what I'm most interested to take a look at. All right, guys, so here is the Tyrannosaurus battle bike with Red Ranger. Now, this is an exclusive Red Ranger, but here's the deal with that, okay? They are releasing all three battle bikes. You're going to get your Triceratops for Billy, you're going to get the Mastodon bike for Zach, and the Tyrannosaurus bike for Jason here. Now, I'm sure you guys will know, the old bikes had a sidecar on the black and the blue bike for the female Rangers. They are not putting the sidecars on the other two bikes. And we are not getting an exclusive pink and yellow Ranger. They're only doing the three male Rangers. And that is unfortunate. I'll talk about the flipping action here in a second that I do not care for. Hopefully we can remove all that, but it's going to take a little bit of work. But we'll take a look at it as it is. So here's the flipping action. The Ranger's on the bike, and then you press a button, and he's got this apparatus and this harness on, and he flips forward, does a front flip basically, and lands it to attack. We've got the Rangers doing their pose on the side. Here's a little bit more close-up and detailed footage blown up from the front of what actually happens. You press the button on the back. Once he's all hooked up, he flips forward. I don't know. I don't think kids are going to find this very fun. My kids don't look to be too interested in it. I'll have them play with it and see what they think about it. But they like the old battle bikes. Now, I do appreciate the box on this one. It's completely sealed. There's no cutout windows to press anything. So if you're a sealed collector, you know, it is a completely sealed box with a nice big see-through window here to see everything. So that's nice for you collectors. But we're going to actually open this up. I want to compare this Ranger to the red basic Ranger from the basic set and see if it's pretty much the same Ranger with just different paint applications, if it's a slightly different size. I don't know. We're going to take a look at it. So let's go ahead and open this up. So it looks like we can open it here on top for those of you that want to try to save your box. Looks like we got some tape here. I'm sure it won't be easy, but let's go ahead and cut the tape. See how much you have to mangle this box to get this out of here. Okay, that was actually really easy. All right, so we have the instructions here. I'm sure we can figure it out without looking at all this stuff, but here's your instructions. Because I'm sure a small kid wants to go through all this to be able to do this little flipping action. All right, this is taped on here, but if we just cut these bands, I'm sure we can take it off of there. All right, we have our Red Ranger and battle bike out. Now the battle bike does have the little kickstand right here. We will look at the bike in a second. I want to get to this Ranger. So the first thing I notice is the Morpher is black. Now on the basic Ranger, I'm going to pull the basic Ranger up here. All right, let's go ahead and compare sizes. Yeah, guys, it looks like this is the exact same figure. As far as mold, height, size, the body and everything looks the same. Now, on the new exclusive figure, the Morpher is completely black with the Morpher holder on the belt. On the basic figure, it was actually silver. Now, technically, both of these are wrong because, you know, the Morpher should be silver, and then the outline of it, the attachment that actually holds it on their belt should be black. But I prefer the silver because the Morpher takes up the most space. When it's all black, it just doesn't look right. So I actually like the basic figure better in that regard. The paint applications on the body look pretty much identical. The articulation. So the boots actually look kind of like a glossier, more of a pure white color on the basic figure. It's a little bit more matte colored on the exclusive figure, but that could just be mine, I'm not sure. But I definitely notice a difference in the color of the white and possibly the material. All the articulation points look the same. Let's take a look at the helmets here. All right, so on the exclusive figure, they actually painted the silver all the way across. Now, you can paint it on there on the basic figure. It's not like the molding is different. They just didn't paint the visor all the way across the front. They did on the exclusive figure. And they also painted in the eyes, but they are like a gold color, which they shouldn't be. It reminds me of when Jason, let's see, what episode? The Wannabe Ranger, right? When he shoots the laser blasts out of the eyes on the helmet. That's what that reminds me of, but those should not be gold. So, yeah, that's weird. So, a little bit more paint application on the helmet. Now, at first glance, I thought the helmet might have actually been a different size, but I don't think it is. The visor being painted just makes it look better, makes it look wider, but they actually look like the same mold. Yeah, I don't see a difference. The paint is just making it look wider. It's actually, I think, it's the exact same figure, guys. It is the exact same figure as the basic figure with golden eyes instead of no paint and the full visor painted across. And they painted the Morpher all black instead of silver. And that's it. It's the exact same Ranger. So I don't get this. I mean, the glaring thing, I'm sure all of you have already noticed, they don't even have a holster. No holster, no weapons. I mean, as far as an exclusive figure goes, this is trash. it's not really exclusive. It's the exact same figure with less stuff. You ripped off the holster and you changed the paint app here and added 2 tiny paint apps up here. That's kind of a disgrace to the exclusive nature of something. I mean, the basic figure is better. You get the holster. The Morpher's actually silver. If you don't want to paint it, it looks better. You can add a dab of paint for the eyes if that really bothers you, the correct color. Huh, that's really odd that they chose to go that route. Huh. Yeah, I don't really know what to say about that. That's, I mean, I was expecting something a little different for exclusive, not just rip the holster off and add a few more dabs of paint. That's crazy. But yeah, it's the exact same figure, guys, as the basic figure. All right, let's take a look at the bike. The overall paint application on the bike, I mean, it looks pretty decent. We've got a, oh, here's this thing flying around. A big fat tire here in the back. The one in the front is more size appropriate. You got the flaring down right here of the body really far down. Got the lights right there. The muffler. I mean, overall, without this bracket and this stuff right here, the bike wouldn't have looked terrible. The handlebars look really extended out, almost like those ape hanger, you know, handlebars. I mean, obviously not that extreme, but the handlebars are really far back. Right here, oh wow, that's under a lot of spring tension. So this is the thing that must shoot the Ranger up. This is the lever. Wow, that really snaps up there. Sounds like a cap gun going off. And then this is what flies forward. Now, if you really wanted to, we can probably, all the screws are exposed. So we can probably just open this up, remove this right here. Obviously you want to leave the activation lever back here for the look. And seeing as how this just goes on the inside, I'm sure this can actually come off as well. Because I think this is just, you know, on a hinge, it's just being held in there. I don't think it's connected to any springs or mechanisms. It's just so when the Ranger gets launched up in the air with this, it flies forward. So you can actually take this stuff off if you just want the bike. But this is 21 something, $22, $23 after tax. And you're getting, if you have the basic Rangers, which if you want all the Rangers in this size, you're gonna have to buy those anyway because they're not releasing pink and yellow with the bikes. Or the sidecars. I mean, we could always hope for some 3D printed sidecars. We've got a lot of creative people out there. But you're basically paying $23 for a battle bike if you want to take this stuff off and you already have the basic Rangers. I think they should have just done the bikes right. Sidecars, no Rangers included. That would have helped them out because you would have had to buy the basic figure set, which is a great set. But they should have just released these as the actual battle bikes with the sidecars. You could have included, you know, you could have included with this one the completed power blaster. So you don't have to put the weapons together. You know, you get the individual weapons with the basic figures. Since the other two bikes would have came with a sidecar, Red could have just come with the power blaster for the Rangers, and you could have just sold the bikes themselves as is to put the Rangers on. I think all of this was unnecessary. I don't think it's gonna be a big seller. And this is your exclusive figure, which is pretty much the exact same figure. I mean, you can swap the helmet if you really want those 2 extra paint apps. and you don't want to do it yourself, there we go. Now we've got our holster, our actual silver morpher, and extra paint apps on our helmet. But is that worth all the extra money? These could have been like $10 if you would have just released the bikes. You know, good bikes that looked good. I would have made the handlebars a little smaller. Obviously none of this. This didn't need to move. Take this off. And it wouldn't have looked half bad. All right, let's go ahead. Here, I'll put the other helmet on this guy. All right, we got to put the vest on. So, see if we can figure this out without looking at instructions. We're going to stick this on here. This obviously probably goes here. This, I think, goes through here. And then, whoop. Then I'm guessing it fastens there. I could have just done this completely wrong, but I don't think that I did. All right, and then obviously I think this goes in here. Yep, so it flips forward. Oh, I think I put it in the wrong spot. Because now he can't do this. Oh wait, no, actually I think I did it right. Probably can only really do it one way. Let's press this down. Get them into like a basic pose here. With their feet on the things, they really don't set down very far. I'm going to take the feet off so it actually touches this bracket. All right, here we go. And then they land like they're trying to use the bathroom. I mean, I don't know, guys. You guys tell me. Do you think that that's worth it? Do you think that kids are really gonna... Ugh. Whoop. Didn't work that time. All right, come on. Yeah, go Power Rangers. I don't know, guys. I think this is a loss right here. It's just, I don't know. I just don't think this will be fun. I'll let my kids decide that. But this just looks silly. You got to put this whole apparatus on just to get it to flip over and look like they're taking a squat? Like, really? Hey, he landed in some sort of a pose that time. I mean, is it so hard for you to just use your imagination and make a good-looking bike that looks like, you know, the actual bike, and just take your Ranger and have them jump off and go into a kicking pose and then kick the bad guy yourself? Was all of this really necessary? I mean, I guess we'll let sales determine what right looks like. I mean, if these fly off the shelf and they're a really big seller, then I guess I was wrong in regards to if this is effective and if kids enjoy it and people want it. But I don't know. I don't like it. Let's compare this to the original one. All right, so here's one of my original bikes. As you guys can see, the paint scheme, everything is very similar. The original one had the appropriate size tires on the front and the back. We had the kickstand. You know, on this one, you get this oversized rear tire. You also get the kickstand. The overall looks, though, of the new bike isn't terrible. I don't like this extreme, like, flaring of the body down the left and the right. I know they're doing that for balance and stuff when the kickstand's not even out. It is obviously a little bit bigger. Now, the original one came with a wheel that attached to the side here, and it had a little missile that launched out. My missile is in a bag over there somewhere. I'm not going to track it down. You guys can figure out what it does. You know, you press the button and it launches the missile. I think they should, if they wanted to give it some kind of action feature or something, they should have just remade this old one a little bit bigger and went that route. I think it's more fun to shoot a missile than it is to do all of this flipping apparatus vest stuff right here. You know, here's the old bikes. They come with the sidecars, which we're not getting with the new ones. We're just getting this flipping action with figures that have two little dabs more of paint on them. Yeah, I'm definitely going to modify this bike. I'm going to take all this stuff off so that it can be displayed with the Rangers. I'm going to take this lever out. We'll do that in a different video, but yeah, I don't like this. At least it looks like for the most part you can take this apart and take all that stuff off. The old handlebars were smaller, kind of like they should be. These are kind of oversized. But you guys tell me. Well, let me swap these heads back. You guys tell me what you think about these new battle bikes and the direction that they took on these, because I'm not a fan of it. I don't like it. I think it was really unnecessary. The figure doesn't make much sense, but that's just my opinion of the new battle bikes. All right, guys, before we go, let's go ahead and just take a quick look at the Red Ranger role-playing mask. Much like the Green Ranger one, I like these. They're basic. They're a good representation of the Ranger's helmet. Obviously, you know, your kids and stuff can wear them on their faces. My kids don't really like this face mask stuff. They like the full helmet stuff. But once again, I'm not using it for that. These are going to be put up on a wall and just used for a display for like the mask, you know, kind of coming out of the wall. I'm going to put something behind the visor, probably some black construction paper or something to black out the visors. And I think these are going to look really cool. But this one's just like the green one. It's got the little forehead plate and the chin plate right there. As you can see, I mean, these are, they're hard plastic. They're not like a thin Halloween mask. They do have a little bit of give to them, but they are pretty sturdy. You can see the molding on mine right here has been pressed down. It's not really supposed to be that way. So these aren't the highest quality things in the world, but for what they are and what they look like, I want to get the whole set and, you know, put them on a wall above one of my displays. Right now I can only find green and red. I'm sure the other ones will follow, but this is Red Rangers. This one right now, these masks are up to like $13. I think this one was over $13. For some reason, everything keeps going up in price. From the moment it's posted, within a day, it usually goes up in price. So when stuff is first being posted to Walmart.com, keep checking. That's when you want to try to get it, because it seems like after, within a day's time, they adjust the price. Same thing happened with all the other stuff. Same thing happened with Yellow as soon as she hit. I don't know. Yeah, it looks like they post it, and then they realize that they wanted to mark it up more, and then they go mark it up more. But that is the Red Ranger mask. So let's go ahead and take a look real quick. at everything that we reviewed. All right, guys, so we have the Red Ranger mask, which, like I said, I do like the masks. We have the red battle bike with the exclusive Red Ranger, which my personal opinion is that is a loss. I think it's a waste unless you really just want one of the battle bikes to display. The exclusive figure is pretty much the exact same thing as the basic figure, and the flipping action and all of that stuff I think is really unnecessary. I think it'll be a little more frustrating than it will be fun for a kid. And overall, I just don't think it looks very good. The Automorphing Yellow and Pink Ranger over here, which are manual morphing Rangers, they were robbed of their continuous flipping head action. And much like the other Rangers, their mobility isn't great. Their overall physique doesn't look that good. The weapons don't form the power blasters. And the coins, even on the females, like I said, are just a flat surface. No raised indentions or anything like that, which that's not really a big deal. I'm just pointing out all the things I can notice that are different. The only thing I can really say positive about them is the head sculpts actually look pretty good for the Automorphin Rangers. But that's it, guys. Just trying to bring you as much information as possible and see what you're getting for the price that you're paying for it. And I don't know, maybe some of this stuff is for you guys and you really enjoy it. And if that's the case, then that is great. I'm just giving my personal opinion on the matter. Now, I will be doing the Megazord review here soon. My Mastodon should actually be here tomorrow, so I will have all of the Zords. We'll take a look at those, do some comparisons, talk about everything that I noticed with them. But as of right now, guys, that is it for this video. Before I go, though, I do want to show one thing. So somebody had requested in one of my other videos to see what it looked like with the Green Ranger shield from the basic figure line on the original Automorphin Rangers, specifically Red Ranger, I think. I could be wrong. But here is the Dragon Shield on the original Automorphin Red Ranger. And I have to say, it really doesn't look that bad at all. Now, it won't snap, but if you just tuck the straps under the arms and put them under the shield, it looks pretty good and it stays on there fairly well. So that is what that looks like. I am going to do some more modifications to my Rangers, and I got my magnets and everything in. We're going to do a more permanent power blaster that actually has magnets in the weapons that snap together and all that. So those videos are coming. I've got a lot of videos in the works. So yeah, just stay tuned for that stuff. But I'm going to wrap this up. And until next time, everybody, I will see you next video.